Martin, would you like to do the honors, or do you want?
You go ahead. You go ahead, and I'll follow up.
Okay.
I'll jump in.
So, as you guys know, I'll start this way. For those of you guys that really know me on a personal level, you guys know that covering the WNBA is something that I have been wanting to do on Go Talk the Marcus since I started, but I could never really figure it out. And about a year and some change ago, Jessica Brown, who is the president and CEO and founder of the Great College Girl Foundation, sent me a text telling me that I had to talk to her friend Martin Soaries because he was this great basketball mind and he did a lot of great things with basketball and it'd be really helpful for me. Martin's been on the show a couple of times before the network and now since joining the network, since I've joined the network, we've done a lot of content together. Martin, first of all, is great at what he does. And he and I have always tried to figure out ways that we can continue to build our working relationship and continue to put out content together. And we have figured out a way to do that in a way that is going to further, we hope, is going to help further the game of women's basketball. Martin has a show already that exists. It's called Protect Our Queens. And Martin can go into a little bit more depth about why he started Protect Our Queens and what that means to him. And I'm not just saying this on camera because I've said this to Martin several times. And if I really cared enough to prove it to you guys, I'd pull up the voice messages that we have where I said it. It is truly an honor and a privilege to embark on this journey with Martin in the world of women's basketball, but specifically with Protect Our Queens because this is Martin's baby. So before Martin kind of goes into what Protect Our Queens is and what we'll be doing with the show, Martin and I are both pleased to announce that starting September 12th, which is the day before the WNBA playoffs begin, Protect Our Queens podcast will join the Give Us a Shot network. And again, like I said, Martin will go into more depth about what that means and what that's going to look like. This is something that we've been working on for a while. It is a project that Martin has started, and it is something that just fits right now, not just for Martin, but for myself. And so, Martin, my man, you go ahead and you take it away and you tell them what to expect from Protect Our Queens.
Yeah, so Protect Our Queens did start with me on Basketball Society, and I started it as a branch of the brand as a special segment where we use that to specifically cover and highlight women's basketball. So I started by doing some videos. We did some interviews with some of the top high school basketball players in New Jersey. We've had Diamond Miller on, Olivia Miles, all kinds of some of the top players in the country we would have on and interview them. I did a special feature on a couple of players. Hannah Hidalgo was one. She's a frequent Protect Our Queens person. She's been on my podcast. She's obviously a highly touted prospect that's going to be at Notre Dame in the fall. So I did a feature on her that was during the pandemic when things were shut down and high school seasons were shortened. So there wasn't much media or even access at the time. They weren't letting fans into games at high school games and stuff. So for the girls' side, it was even more. I mean, there were hardly people at girls' games to begin with before the pandemic. So during the pandemic, it was even less access. But fortunately, I had a chance to go to all of Hannah's games that year. That was her sophomore year. So I spent time with her, went to almost every one of her games. It was a shortened season, so it was only about 15 games or so. Went to her house, spent time with her and her wonderful family, had church with them on Sundays and everything. But we did a feature on Hannah, did a couple other features on some top female prospects. And yeah, this is meant to be a platform, not just for men, but it's really important to me that a brother like my guy Marcus here and other guys who are interested in women's basketball, who are tapped into it, or who are not that tapped into it and kind of need a source or a platform to kind of put them on to girls. that can play and that they want to know about before they get to, you know, Louisville or Duke or LSU or the college level, where in a few years you see this girl killing in the Final Four and you're like, yo, who is this chick? Protect Our Queens. It's not just meant to put you on to upcoming talent. That's one of the many things we're going to be doing. But Protect Our Queens is meant to be a resource and a platform for people to really tap into how unique, how beautiful, and how special the women's basketball game is. As someone who is connected to the women's game, I have two sisters who played in the WNBA, who are all-time greats at Rutgers University. As someone who's been around the women's game, has come up around it, and who is just connected to it as much as I am, this is one of the few things that I am, for some reason, I have been called and chosen to help to contribute to this kind of work in the basketball world. So we are bringing the Protect Our Queens podcast. I'm talking to my camera now. I got to talk to my people.
He's talking to his camera.
We're bringing Protect Our Queens to the Give Us a Shot network. I know you've seen me tapped in. We've done the commercials. We've been dancing. We've been breaking stuff down. We've been talking to girls. We've been tapped in. Now is the time to really tap in, because we're bringing the Protect Our Queens podcast to the Give Us a Shot network. My brother, my guy, Mr. Dwayne Marcus, who I didn't know you had two first names. I thought your name was Marcus until recently. But now that we're tapped in and I'm getting to know this brother, we are going there into the abyss of women's basketball. I'm proud and happy and excited to have you along this journey with me for this next phase of Protect Our Queens. And the same energy holds true. Any of you who are talking about stay in the kitchen, who are in comments talking about lower the rims, or this is boring, or how much did you pay NBA players to watch women's basketball? You are on my list. You've been on my list. I've been coming out into the ring, knocking y'all out one by one, Royal Rumble style. I'm still here. And now I've got my tag team partner. And trust me, Marcus is not to be trifled with. So trust me, the energy is staying the same. We're taking it to another level. We've got some live shows coming, some more interviews with some major people in the women's basketball space. This is what's going down now with Protect Our Queens. So stay tapped in with Give Us a Shot Network. Stay tapped in with me on Basketball Society. You'll still see me. You'll still see some Protect Our Queens stuff there. But the podcast is going to be right here on the Give Us a Shot Network, right here with my guy, Marcus. So I am excited to get this movement, to continue the movement, and to get it started in this new phase.
So here's the crazy thing about life. And I'm not that old. I haven't been living that long. But I think, so Martin and I after the first couple of NBA, when Martin first came on the show, we were doing NBA stuff. If you guys follow the show, you know one of Martin's first appearances, we were just doing a bunch of NBA stuff. Martin, after I think his fourth or fifth appearance on the show, was like, we got to figure out a way to do some content together. After a while, we kind of shifted the focus, because I was like, this is the season I have to cover the WNBA with the high note that the college women's basketball season left off of. There was no excuse for me not to do the WNBA this season. And I had conversations with Germ. I had conversations with Ty about ways that I can still do the things I normally do, but move them in different places to be able to cover the game of women's basketball. This is not just about, as Martin mentioned, this isn't just about the WNBA. It's about college. It's about high school. Because the game of women's basketball is important. Now, I've said several times on this show that if you don't like that, then you're a Neanderthal and you don't love basketball, and we'll see you in September for football. Well, here's the thing. Now we're going to see you in September for women's basketball. So I really don't know what to tell you. I'm going to be here year-round covering women's basketball with my guy Martin Soaries, and I can't overstate the true privilege and honor I feel personally because of the personal connection that Martin has to the game of women's basketball with both of his sisters having played in the league. I have to thank Martin for entrusting me with this journey. I have to thank Miss Jessica Brown for even putting me in the path to be with Martin in the first place. And of course, I have to thank Germ and Ty and the Mighty Give Us a Shot Network for allowing me to create this show. We talk a lot in society about the importance of making space for the things you care about, and making sure that there are dedicated spaces where people can come and feel safe to do the things that they love. If you are a women's basketball fan, You no longer have to check out every other week an episode of Go Talk with Marcus to hear me and Martin talk about women's basketball, because we're going to be here on a weekly basis with guests, with a lot of fun things. This ain't just going to be a podcast, bro. It's going to be dynamic. We're going to have conversations that no one else wants to have. We're going to address some of them crazy things that people say about lowering the rim and people paying their players and all this other stuff. We're going to really get into the ins and outs of the games of women's basketball. We're gonna group some players in some certain places. We're gonna do the things that the things that Martin and I have planned for this show are not just for the rest of this season, and they're not going to see us until next May. No. Protect Our Queens is going to exist from September 12th until Jesus cracks the sky open. I just want y'all to understand. It's not going anywhere. There's no break.
Yes,
Year round.
Yes, sir.
Till kingdom come. Literally. Till kingdom come. I don't have a camera I can talk off to, and I don't look at my webcam often, but like now I'm going to. Like we're here and we're here to stay. There is no more see you next year. No. See you next week. See you tomorrow. Like we're here. This is a dedicated effort, and it's not just, I don't want to give too much away, but like it's going to be dynamic, and it's going to be like unlike any other thing you've ever seen me do before, because I'm stepping out of my comfort zone a bit, but it's unlike anything I've ever done before. Martin, of the two of us, he's the historian. I'll be honest. I'm a fan of women's basketball, but I haven't been as tapped into women's basketball as I have been the past 2.5 years or so. So Martin's definitely the historian that can definitely take you back. But as Martin said, this is a formidable duo, and it is not one to be messed with when it comes
well, it's
to this
good because
game of
we're
women's
both,
basketball.
we both want to offer people, like, we're not here to shove women's basketball down your throat. If you just don't like it, some people are just that dumb and ignorant, and they're gonna.
And you're not a basketball fan if you don't.
That's just the fact. That's what we're going to keep reminding people of, because there's no difference between women. It's basketball. We say women's basketball and men's basketball, but it's the common denominator is basketball. Like
it's basketball that just happened to be played by women. It's
playing
basketball.
the same sport. So it's a difference if you love basketball or if you love the NBA. Just make the distinction. Just know that it's fine. But we're not here to show. We're not here to convert you. I mean, we can if you're struggling that much. We'll help you. But we're only here for people who already like women's basketball, or for people like Marcus. Marcus may not know enough, but he made the decision like, wait, I actually like this is actually a good product. I like basketball enough. Marcus started watching games and hitting me up like, yo, this is dope. Like, this girl is fire. This girl's game is dope. Like, he fell in love with it because he loves basketball. So a lot of people have that experience with women's basketball where they don't know what they don't know. They don't know that they actually... They haven't seen girls move. They don't know what these girls are doing nowadays. So that's part of what we want to do. Again, not even just at the WNBA level, but at different levels where we'll try to introduce you to some girls all around the country, all around the world that are playing basketball at a high level. Just to, again, not to shove it down your throats, but to kind of put you on to like really what's happening out here in women's and girls basketball. So it doesn't matter what level you're at, unless you are just completely in the dark and just you're okay with being stupid and naive and ignorant, and you can just stay there. We don't even have time for you. But if you are even the slightest bit curious, if you have even the slightest bit of interest and you don't really know where to go or who to tap in with or what to watch or listen to really get a feel for this thing, we're here for you. That's what this is for. We got you.
You're right here. Yeah. So a couple things I just want to clear the air because I'm sure people are asking questions. Go Talk with Marcus isn't going anywhere. Go Talk with Marcus will still exist. I will still cover the NFL, the NBA, and the WWE with Go Talk with Marcus. Am I stretching myself too thin? My mom thinks so. And so do some of my friends. But I have no work-life balance, so it doesn't matter. Again, you make space for the things that you care about, and this is something that I care about. So Go Talk with Marcus is not going anywhere. There will be an official live episode. The official launch of Protect Our Queens is September 12th. But if you really think we're going to go a month and a half without talking women's basketball, you're crazy. So what we're going to say is just stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to the network. Make sure you're following on all the socials. Follow me, GTP Marcus, on everything. Follow Martin at Martin Soaries, at the Basketball Society on everything, because we'll be talking women's basketball. Just won't be on Go Talk with Marcus. Because just like NFL podcasts are for NFL fans, just like the NBA podcasts are for NBA fans, just like wrestling podcasts are for wrestling fans, fans of women's basketball deserve dedicated spaces to come and enjoy the game of women's basketball more than on a bi-weekly basis. And so to all the fans of women's basketball out there, what I'm going to say from the bottom of my heart is I apologize. I apologize for not figuring out a way to create a dedicated space to come talk about women's basketball sooner. And I hope that you guys can find it in your heart to forgive me. But now we found that place. September 12th. Be there right here on the Give Us a Shot Network YouTube channel.
Marcus,
tell,
freestyle,
bro,
boy.
bro.
Hey, y'all know how I give this up, bro.
Yeah.
You better not play with me. If I'm talking
We're here.
Our Queens podcast, you know how I give
We're
it up. Come
We're
on now.
We're here. So I'm super. I'm not gonna say. I'll let Martin say what Martin said because I have family that watch the show. I'm not gonna let them hear me say those words. But we're gonna. I'll say it the PG way. We're gonna shake some things up. Okay. Man, I don't.
September 12th, man. Y'all got a month and some change to get ready.
You have to get ready, or just be ready. You don't got to get ready. Stay ready. I don't know what to tell you. But it's coming. So the past couple of sign-offs for these women's basketball shows, I've been saying, if you don't like it, see you in September for football because you're a Neanderthal. Well, now I'm going to see you in September and I'll still be talking women's basketball. So you all have a choice to make. Either you'll continue to be ignorant and you're just an NBA fan, or you'll embrace that little bit of curiosity in yourself and you'll want to come tap in and see what's happening in the great sport of women's basketball, because there's a lot of things to talk about. And we're going to talk about a lot of different conversations. I have a lot of conversations that not a lot of people have been willing to have on a platform such as Protect Our Queens. So one final time before we get up out of here, the Protect Our Queens podcast presented by the Give Us a Shot Network is officially debuting September 12th, Tuesday, September 12th, which is the night before the WNBA playoffs tip off. So be there for that. It will be a live episode. But again, just because the live episode is coming September 12th doesn't mean you have to wait until September 12th to get Protect Our Queens content. So make sure that you are liked up and subscribed and you have post notifications turned on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok. If you're on Threads too. Because anywhere that we can put the great sport of women's basketball presented by the Give Us a Shot Network by way of the Protect Our Queens podcast, we're going to do it. So follow Martin, follow myself, and follow the network because it's about to go down. So for the great Martin Soaries of the Basketball Society and the new Protect